thinking of a master plan. This ain't nothing but sweat inside my hands. So I dig into my pocket, all my money spent. So I get deeper, but still coming up.
Hey, it's Greg with the Reality REI tip of the day, coming into you from my home office. And the tip of the day is if you're purchasing a property for cash and you're going to be renovating, reselling it, or any type of transaction, again, where you're actually buying the property and yourself and you plan on doing something with it. One of the things that I like to do with sellers, in particular for properties that are close to the Northeast, I like to have it so when I am purchasing a property that the owner is going to be paying the transfer tax and the seller's tax. And I typically do that in the last bit of negotiating that I'm doing. So let's say if I'm working with a seller and we're haggling on price and I'm trying to get to 100,000 and they're at 105 and I'm at 95 or something like that, and we might end up at somewhere like at 102. Then I might say, look, I can do 102, but this is what I want you to do. Can you pay for I'm going to pay for all closing costs except for anything that's charged by the government, grantor's tax and transfers tax and recording fees. And then I'll have typically they may ask how much it is. I'll tell them I don't know. It might be 1, 2, 3% depending on where you live. But I'll just tell them it's just a certain percentage of the purchase price. And I'll mark it so that they end up, it'll just be kind of a final negotiating thing. I'll get them to pay for the transfer tax and the grantor's tax, or the grantor's tax, recording fees, and that kind of thing. And the reason I do that is because there is a big gotcha, especially when you're dealing with properties in the Northeast. It seems like the further in the Northeast you go, the higher the transfer tax is. And the stopping point seems to be about the DC area, pretty much the DC area north. I don't know what it's like on the West Coast and what it's like down in Florida or Texas or something, but I can just tell you that the transfer tax up on the higher areas are very high. And they're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3%. So a lot of times you might be thinking you're buying a place for $100,000, and if you agree to pay for closing costs and then you see that, that gotcha, the 3%, you're like, wow. So what I like to do is just give that to the seller and have the seller pay for those taxes, and I'll typically tell them, well, if you've got an issue with it, especially when it comes up at closing, I'll say you got to talk to your local government rep. I mean, they're the ones that are charging it. To speak to them about it. We've agreed upon a price, and let's move forward with that price. So typically, that's again a good way to save a few $1,000 when you're purchasing for cash. Take care.
Hit the studio, cause I'm paid in full.
Akim, check this out. Yo, you go to your girl's house and I go to mine, cause my girl is definitely